You know what's unfortunate about having a banger F1 weekend like in Silverstone? The next one is never gonna live up to it. There are two realities after a weekend like Silverstone. One is that the next weekend kinda stinks or is a snoozer, or two, the weekend was even better than the last. That's what made 2021 so good, because almost every single weekend was a step above the last and it was amazing. But that high hasn't been reached since. However, could now be that time? The 2025 grid is insanely close to each other, and while McLaren are still winning everything, their drivers like to mess that up, which does lead to some close races here and there. Plus, the real battle is in the midfield, since there's essentially no running order, so it's basically winner takes all, except the winning position, is like P7 or something. But point is, was this weekend as good as Silverstone, or was this one boring and will be forgotten in about 5 minutes? Keep watching to find out. Anyways, enough about useless ramblings. How was this track, and is this even a good one? Because while this track is a certified hood classic, it's a classic for a reason, since in modern times, this track has delivered some stinkers. However, that's because that was in years of Mercedes or Red Bull dominance. We live in different times now, and last year when the pack was also close together, we had a fantastic race. This track is a banger still, and will always be because of the layout. All the turns blend extremely well, and it feels like a racetrack, Woke bullshit like Miami or that god-awful Madrid track, they just don't feel like racetracks. They feel like some billionaire's 3-day vacation, while proper tracks like Spa, Silverstone, Monza, they feel like special events to be cherished, Anyways, I'm rambling again. This track, like I've said, has had some bangers like last year, where we had a close finish for the win, 2018 with the chaotic lap 1, 2014 where the Mercedes killed each other and totally didn't kill their friendship, and 2010 where rain caused everyone to be lobotomized. I fear we may be in for a good one, guys. So let us find some winners and losers, recap the weekend, and hope I do not jinx this weekend. Feel like I already did though. Anyways, join the Discord to experience the weekends live, and subscribe if you're new if you are a Leo. So enough yapping, and here are the winners and losers from the Belgian Grand Prix.
See those clouds up in the corner? That's where the rain is coming from.
Recap time, ladies and gents, and first up is the quick little reminder that this is a sprint weekend. For those unfamiliar, sprint weekends are a different type of F1 weekend where there is only one practice session before we immediately get racing. On Friday after FP1, there is a sprint qualifying session, then on Saturday, we have the sprint race before going on to the main qualifying for the full race, and of course on Sunday, we have the main Grand Prix. But yeah, sprints this weekend, and the other bit of news is regarding goddamn Max again. Every week with this guy. Now there are reports saying that Max's ass will stay with Red Bull for next year thanks to his exit clause no longer being active, which of course means no Max to Mercedes until 2027 the earliest. However, again, now there are new reports saying that Max has another exit clause after Hungary, where if he drops to 4th in the standings, he could still leave, which I just don't care anymore, man. He's either leaving Red Bull to retirement or staying with them for a few years and then retiring. Please stop with the Mercedes talk. But yeah, that's the drama recap. So now we have the Friday practice and the sprint qualifying. Do not disappoint me, Ferrari.
Please!
I'm afraid they disappointed. FP1 showed us that the Ferrari cars, after the supposed 10th finding upgrades that were to be installed here, added quite literally nothing to the car. If anything, it made it worse, and I just couldn't think of a more Ferrari thing to happen than this. Anyways, the rest of the session showed us the same old, same old. Drivers go off the track and finding pace, and many impeding moments like this one.
Okay, Garmin. Video speichern.
In terms of the pecking order, Mercedes are there at the track, Red Bull despite the leadership change don't really look any better or worse, and McLaren are absolutely running away with this weekend. I mean, I just don't know how they keep topping themselves this year. They were wicked fast in China, Miami, Spain, and now here in Spa. It only makes it worse when their drivers actually lock in, which for Norris, I don't know about that, but Pastry is absolutely on it this weekend. In FP1, he was 4/10 ahead of Max, and I would not be surprised if that gap is larger for their sprint quali, which hey, speaking of, we now move on to that beginning with SQ1, and yep, it's exactly what I said it will be. I really don't know how to keep doing this, man. Surely they are cheating, right? It's unnatural, man. Something else unnatural is Ferrari for the opposite reason, since, come on, man, do these Italians know that the up and upgrade is meant to show improvement? Like, god damn, man, it's so sad that when Lewis got on SQ1, I felt nothing. I just want this pain to end, and I better not catch y'all thinking this is an act. I am not acting or joking when I say I feel nothing anymore. Oh, Ferrari out in Q1 again? Whoop-de-doo, my life is too precious for me to be hung up on Ferrari. I must transcend this body. What is a red team to a duck man with nothing to lose? Anyways, the session. Kimi Antonelli also had a rough go of it, since at the track where he pulled this ballsy move last year in F2, he struggled hard, which led to his elimination thanks to him wanting to build sandcastles like he's 10. To be fair, that was less than a decade ago for him. Also out in this session was Hulkenberg, who I'm very sure will score points for the sprint race, since it's practically second nature for him to score points from the back. Someone who cannot say the same though is Yuki, who in SQ2 now gets out, which is pretty typical for him. However, if there is good news surrounding him, some spark in his eyes seem to be coming back thanks to Mekis being reunited with him again, so let's pray he can get that form back. Speaking of form, George Russell, who after that win in Canada is starting to struggle a bit. He also got eliminated at SQ2, which is pretty weird given how he literally won here last year, before the disqualification at least, and in prior years always performed well, so let's hope he could get back up for the main stuff. Alright, now for SQ3, and I'm not going to waste your time. Pastry gets pulled by a butt-fucking margin and sets a new track record, beating Lewis in the W11, and he's followed by Max and Lando in the top 3. What actually deserves time though is Haas and Gabby, since they clearly ate some of that Bottas-approved porridge. Haas especially, since 5th and 7th, man, are you kidding me? It's going to be real sad too when they double DNF tomorrow in the wet sprint race, which yeah, I'm betting on that right now. Which hey, speaking of, let's move on to that and Saturday as a whole, where we have the sprint race along with the main qualifying. So that was a race. I was prepared for at least a wet sprint, but there was no rain. Okay, I was also prepared for at least approximately 5 overtakes, but there were only like 3 or 4. Yeah, man, the sprint stunk. Lap 1 began and Piastri did get off the line well. However, it's Spa and it's better to be in second and not first, because Max Verstappen was able to roar past him in the straight and take the win. Leclerc was also able to get ahead of Lando. However, that led to nothing, since a couple laps later, Lando overtook him back, and that's it. Not even joking. Well, let's just move on to the main qualifying now, and immediately, these guys are blood hungry, since in that pit traffic jam, Hulkenberg got his wing ran over by Stroll, which, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that's an ideal start for him. Also not ideal, this session, since it was pretty boring with nothing really happening until the final moments anyways. The final moments saw crucial drivers like Hamilton, Antonelli, and the Astons in the bottom 5. Could they get out? No. Antonelli, instead of spinning out SQ1 yesterday, thought it would be cooler to just disappoint on his own accord. The Astons, with their impeccable timings, set their time first and got out by the end of it, and Lewis Hamilton, hang up the boots, son, it's over. He was actually able to be in the top 10, however, he got track limits and had his time deleted, which dropped him from 7th to 16th. Hang up the boots, son. It's over. More damage than good is starting to be done. It really may be over. Moving on to Q2 though, and it's a good old-fashioned Q2 since nothing really exciting happens. The craziest thing to me was Yuki in this session, since my man was in 5th and a couple of tenths behind Max. That's pretty encouraging, and it'd be really fun if he finally behaved like a second driver the moment Horner left the team. Alright, now for Q3, and the first lap showed that the McLarens are really fast. However, our saving grace is Max, who did his first run on used tires, so it's still very much game on. In the midfield, Racing Bull seemed to be the fastest, but there is Albon and Gabby to be wary of, so it's not finished just there yet. But now for the final runs, and wrap it up, Max bottle turn 1. So Lando takes pole from Piastri in an upset actually, and further behind, Leclerc pits Max for 3rd, while Albon somehow goes 5th in that car ahead of Russell and Tsunoda, while Racing Bulls takes 8th and 9th and Gabby 10th. If this race is wet, dare I say we can have a good one here. I mean, McLaren will likely run away with it with their tires, but let a man dream. Which, speaking of, it's time for Sunday, race day. For today's race, we would have rain falling down, which if you know anything about Spa and rain, I suggest we just go to sleep because there will not be a race here, guys. It's really sad too, since many fans direct their criticisms at the wrong thing. The problem isn't the drivers being scared, it's the fact that these cars make 1 centimeter of rain into a 30-foot wall of spray. 2026 cannot come sooner, man, I swear. So after a 1 hour and 30-minute delay, we finally get running with the rolling start, and immediately, Lionel gets his pants pulled down by Pedro Pastry, and everyone is now under pressure with the exception of Oscar. Someone taking it well though is Lewis, since from the back he is cutting his way through everybody like it's 2008 again, so let's see if that could turn into points for him. Okay, now it's lap 13 and everyone is starting to pit for dries, which sees Ocon as a safety car for a bit since he was a bit late with his stop, and now it's game on in the dry. Or not, since guys, it has been 30 minutes and I have nothing for you. From lap 15 to lap 40, just nothing, man. Towards the end, it did get a bit dicey with Lando and Oscar, but nothing happened. Same with Max and Charles. So the race ends with Oscar winning from Lando and Charles in third. Burn this sport to the ground. Now for the winners and losers, and as always, losers first, and we start with my glorious king, Lewis Hamilton. Please, Lewis, it's over. Every weekend, this guy's just beating himself up and calling himself not enough, and it's like, my guy, please relax. Calling himself trash is only leading him to not being focused in the car and producing mid or bad results, which only leads him to calling himself bad, and the cycle repeats again. And I'm tired of it. If I wanted a mid driver at Ferrari, I would rather we keep Sainz, because at least he wasn't hundreds of millions of dollars. I need to calm down. He was good for the race and probably the best driver today, but I am not forgetting that Friday and Saturday, so he's a loser for me. Next up is Mercedes, which really? This team wanted Max Verstappen? This weekend, these guys were just sloppy. From the sprints to the main event, these guys stunk it up, especially Kimi, who had his gravel moment in the sprints and was just flat out slow in the main stuff. It's really sad too, because George, who also struggled, at least tried his best. Kimi is a rookie, so it's less shameful than him being, I don't know, 40 years old, so it's a bit more forgivable for him, but nevertheless, still pretty bad. Finally, which, yeah, only 3 losers, we have Aston Martin, who, man oh man, Aston as of late have actually been doing pretty decent, but here, yeah, no. I mean, truthfully, I don't have anything to say, since while their car was definitely slow, wasn't that slow. Their strategy team, man, these guys have to be doing it for the love of the game, because in both qualifyings they got the timings wrong, which led to them dropping like a stone, and worst of all, we're in Spa, so don't hope for a comeback. It's unfortunate, but nothing can be done now. Only have to hope for Hungary. Now for the winners, and we got a lot of them, so let's begin with same old McLaren. Guys, guess what? Fast car leads to a winning result. What? In a weekend where almost every driver was competitive, lame-ass McLaren are here to ensure that none of it matters, since they'll just win anyways. Now, in fairness, Lando did actually do pretty good this weekend with the pole, but kind of screwed it up in the race, while Pastry screwed up the quali, but did great with his win. So, yeah. Whatever, man. Next up is Red Bull, who, come on now, this is kind of comical. The first weekend Horndog is put down, Yuki starts somewhat performing. Maybe Horner had a thing for torturing Yuki, since Yuki got the floor upgrades Max was running finally and immediately did pretty well in that car. Obviously, there is work to do like today showed, but this is still encouraging nevertheless. And also, Max was just top notch. Yes, he bottled Q3 turn 1, but other than that, he was flawless and showed us why he is one of the best on the grid, because make no mistake, no other driver can go toe-to-toe with those McLarens like him. So yeah, good weekend all around for Mekki's first race as team principal. Moving on is Charles Leclerc. Now those quote-unquote upgrades definitely disappointed for us fans, which I guess was to be expected, but Charles is not letting that hinder him. Charles all weekend long looks like he did the absolute maximum in that car, which got him some great results, but come on, man, I hate to say it. If only, man, if only this team were good. Charles has been one of, if not the best driver this year, and it sucks that in years like this one, he just cannot do more than what he is currently doing. I know there will be a day where this team learns to win again, and when Charles does win it all, man, will it be the best day of my life. But yeah, good weekend for him. Next up is Gabby Bortoletto, who was super, man. Gabby was pushing all weekend long, and where Hulk kind of disappointed this weekend, Gabby made up for it with Sauber. From the sprints to the race, he was ahead of Hulk for the most of it and really showed why he is a talent worth trusting. Recently in general, he has looked much better and faster, which has now resulted in him leading the quali head-to-head with Hulk, which, if you know anything about Nico, he is no slouch in qualifying, so that is very promising to see. And obviously in the race, Gabby fought really good for points and didn't disappoint at all. By the way, sidetrack, it's really cool how every single weekend, the best rookies always change up, and I just find that really cool. Next is Alex Albon, who, my oh my, what a weekend. Alex is wicked good, man. Shame he had like 2 years of his life ruined by Red Bull, but what he's doing right now is great, and it's just great to see him doing good with Williams. Keep in mind, that car has no development anymore, so everything he is doing is done with extra effort, which, come on, man, you have to give him credit where it's due, especially when you compare it to Sainz. So yeah, good boy Alex Albon. Have a nice next weekend, because something tells me he's gonna need it. But yeah, this week in quali, he was fantastic with that P5, and in the race, he did the maximum he could, which led to big points for Williams. So yeah, stellar weekend for him. Finally, I have Racing Bulls, who cooked hard here if you don't count for Hadjar, because I don't know what that was today. It's really great to see Liam back up in his confidence, and seeing both Hadjar and Lawson performing, it's just really nice to see. Their car was all right, but the drivers really made up the difference since they fought pretty good for points. The entire midfield battle is just really nice, and it's just great to see every midfield team and driver being really competitive. Too bad the sharp end of the grid isn't the same. Now for my bonus category, and I have the Spa of the Week for the driver who went to the Spa instead of Spa, and I have Lance Stroll since, did anyone see him this week? I don't think a single time this week he was shown on broadcast, which makes sense since he got nothing. I really don't know if he did good or not, but I'll assume not. Hope the Spa was worth it though. Finally, let's see how my predictions and bingo ended up. My sprint predictions were half right. My quali predictions were actually not that bad, you know. My race predictions were actually pretty damn good, you know. My random prediction was wrong, like usual. Your predictions were also wrong, like usual, which I guess is nothing different for you lot. And finally, my bingo card is updated since we hit 50k. Anyways, those were my winners and losers from Spa. Man, what an exhausting weekend, and I need my dear summer break already. Can't take it anymore, Ferrari. Please, just please let me rest. Anyways, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the vlog for their continued support, and make sure to donate if you want cool benefits as well as just helping me out. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe since it really helps me out. Make sure to let me know in the comments what your winners and losers are, and as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.